1. What would you do if the people you were feeding, housing, and supporting decided your bedroom belonged to them, and your own mother backed them up? I'm 26. I own my house outright, meaning my name is on the deed, my paycheck covers the mortgage, and every grocery run, every utility bill, every repair comes out of my pocket. My parents, Tom and Liz, both retired teachers in their 50s, moved in with me about a year ago. They'd spent decades in a small town and got restless once retirement hit, wanted city energy, better weather for their joints, whatever the real reason was. I was doing well as a software engineer, had just closed on a 3-bedroom place, and figured, why not bring them along? They raised me. This was payback, the good kind. The house wasn't flashy, but it worked. Master bedroom, with its own bathroom and a walk-in closet. Mine, obviously, since I was the one making the payments. Second bedroom became my office because I work remote most of the week and needed a real setup, not a laptop balanced on my knees. Third bedroom sat empty, ready for whoever visited. I remember the day we moved in, watching Dad wander the backyard, like he'd just inherited a small kingdom, and Mom immediately rearranging the kitchen cabinets to make more sense. I let her. It was her way of settling in, and honestly, I liked seeing them excited about something after years of the same small-town routine. I told myself this was going to be good for everyone. They'd get their city adventure, I'd get some company. After years of living alone, and we'd all split the load in whatever way made sense. I never once considered that splitting the load would only ever mean me. For months, it was almost boring in a good way. Mom gardened, turned the little strip of dirt out back into something that actually looked intentional. Dad found a couple of retiree friends a few blocks over to complain about the news with, sometimes disappearing for entire afternoons to play cards. I worked, paid bills, kept the peace. I never once brought up rent. You don't do that to your parents. That's just how I was raised. Every so often, I'd catch myself feeling genuinely good about the arrangement, like I was finally paying back some invisible debt for 18 years of being raised, fed, and put through school. I had no idea that debt was about to get a lot more expensive. Then one breakfast, out of nowhere, Mom drops it like she's mentioning the weather. Your brother's thinking about coming to the city. Things aren't going great for him and Emma back home, and, well, she's pregnant now. My brother Jake is 28. His wife Emma is 26. I'd known Jake my whole life as the guy who faceplants into one mess after another and somehow always finds someone else to clean it up. A car repossessed here, a job he was about to quit anyway. There, always some external circumstance to blame. Emma was newer to the family, sweet enough on the surface, but there was always this undertone with her, like she believed the world owed her a cushion for every inconvenience. Add a pregnancy into that mix and I could already sense where this was headed, even if I didn't want to admit it yet. I figured, fine. Maybe they get a small apartment nearby. Maybe I help them find a deposit. Reasonable brother stuff. The kind of help that has an end date. Except Mom had already made the call before I said a word. We invited them to stay with us, just until they're back on their feet. Not can they stay. Not how would you feel about. Already decided, like my house was simply an extension of hers to hand out as she pleased. A week later, Jake and Emma showed up on my porch with suitcases. Not a duffel bag or two for a short stay, but actual suitcases, the kind you pack when you're not planning on leaving anytime soon. I stood in the doorway for a second just staring at the sheer volume of stuff piling up on my porch, and some part of me already knew this wasn't going to be a quick visit. I said nothing at first. I absorbed it. More mouths to feed, more water, and electricity burned through, and somehow I was the last person consulted about my own household. I told myself, temporary. People pass through. It'll be fine. I even helped Jake carry boxes in, because what else was I supposed to do? Stand there and refuse to help my own brother move into my own house. I hated how normal it all looked, from the outside. 2 brothers hauling furniture, laughing about how heavy the mattress was. Nobody watching would have guessed how much resentment was already quietly building underneath it. It wasn't fine. Within days, Emma started dropping comments that sounded innocent on the surface but had teeth underneath. This place must be so much work to keep clean by yourself. We're going to need so much room once the baby comes. Must be nice having a whole bathroom to yourself. Every comment landed like a small test, checking to see how far she could push before I'd offer something up voluntarily. I let it slide, chalking it up to pregnancy nerves, hormones, exhaustion from the move, anything other than what it actually was, which was a slow campaign to make me feel guilty for having what I'd paid for. Meanwhile, the household rhythm started shifting in small, deniable ways. Jake stopped doing even the minimal dishes he used to do the first week. Emma took over the living room like it was a personal lounge, cushions rearranged, blankets draped everywhere, a running commentary about how cramped everything felt even though the house was objectively spacious. I kept my head down and kept working, telling myself it would settle once the initial adjustment period passed. Then one evening, after a brutal work day, the kind where I'd been in back-to-back calls since 7 a.m. and just wanted to collapse. Jake and Emma cornered me in the living room wanting to talk. I assumed an apology was coming, maybe for the groceries disappearing faster than usual, maybe for treating my house like a free Airbnb with room service. Instead, Emma said, flat out, like she was reading off a grocery list, "We think it makes more sense if we take the master bedroom." Jake backed her up immediately. "We need the space. The baby's going to need stuff, and your room's got the closet and the bathroom." I stood there letting that sink in. The house is in my name. I pay every bill attached to it. And these two, who hadn't contributed a cent, were asking me to hand over my own room like it was a hotel upgrade they were entitled to. I offered the guest room instead. Plenty of space, already furnished. Emma shot that down instantly. No walk-in closet, not good enough for the baby. I held the line. "I'm not giving up my room. Take the guest room or find somewhere else." Jake looked stunned that I hadn't folded. Emma looked personally insulted, like I'd broken some unspoken rule that pregnant women get whatever they point at. I figured the ridiculousness of the request would embarrass them into dropping it. Instead, they got bolder. Shoes piled by the couch, their stuff spreading across every surface. Emma casually mapping out where the crib and changing table would go. In my house, in rooms she didn't have. One day I had an in-person meeting. I couldn't skip. Came home at lunch to grab food and immediately clocked something wrong. My clothes were dumped in the hallway. My monitor sat unplugged on the floor mid-transport. My stomach dropped before my brain even caught up. I walked into my bedroom and found Emma mid-pack, boxing up what was left of my things like she was tidying a guest room after checkout. She barely glanced up. "Oh, hey, just finishing up." No hesitation, no guilt. "What the hell are you doing?" I wasn't quiet about it. She stayed calm, almost bored. "Your mom said we could start moving in. The baby's coming soon. We need the room." My mother, who has never once put a dollar toward this mortgage, had unilaterally reassigned my bedroom to my brother's family without asking me. I stepped into the room. "You're not moving in here. I already told you. Guest room, or somewhere else." Emma crossed her arms, playing wounded. "The guest room's too small. No closet. We need the space." "I don't care," I said. "I pay for this house, every dollar. You and Jake contribute nothing. If you need more space, go find your own place." She didn't budge. "Your mom said it was fine," she repeated, like that settled it. I called my mother right then. She wasn't even home. "No hello. Straight to it. Did you tell Jake and Emma they could take my room?" Long pause. Then, "I thought it made sense. They need it more. You've got the office. It's not like you were really using the bedroom. Lost it. I pay the mortgage. I pay for groceries. I pay every bill in this house, and you think it's fine to just hand my room to people who pay for nothing?" She tried the "we're family" line. I wasn't having it. "I'm not giving them my room. If they don't move their stuff back out, they need to find somewhere else to live." Emma must have overheard because she stormed out of the bedroom furious. "You're seriously going to throw us out with a baby coming?" Jake came in seconds later, clearly primed for a fight. "What's going on?" "What's going on," I said, "is your wife thinks she can take over my room without asking. And I'm telling you both, it's not happening. Guest room or gone." Jake went straight to the family loyalty script. Sacrifices, obligations, blood is blood. I cut through it. Sacrifices? I'm already covering this entire house. What exactly are you two contributing? Nothing. And now you think you can just walk in and take what's mine? The shouting escalated fast. My mom kept calling back. I ignored everyone. Jake kept circling the same points. Unfairness, the baby, family sticking together, and I'd already stopped listening by then. I told them both. End of day. Get your stuff out of my room, or I'll move it out myself. Emma slammed a door on her way out. Jake just stood there glaring like I was the villain in his story. I locked myself in the office for the rest of the day, half expecting a second round, fully aware this wasn't over. It wasn't. The next evening, I went to grab dinner and opened the fridge to find it gutted. Food I'd bought 2 days earlier, gone. Freezer, too. Nobody needed to confess, I already knew who'd cleared it out. Then came the real gut punch. My mom set the table. Plates for herself, Dad, Jake, Emma. Not one for me. I waited, thinking she'd forgotten. She hadn't. When I asked, she said, without even meeting my eyes, "You don't want to help the family? You don't eat with the family? I pay for every meal on that table, and I was being frozen out of my own kitchen." Dad said nothing, just kept eating. Jake and Emma sat there smug, like they'd scored a point. I shut the fridge harder than necessary and walked straight to my room. That night, I printed 2 eviction notices. One for Jake and Emma, one for my parents. It felt brutal, kicking out your own family, but I'd been steamrolled for weeks, and the freeze out at dinner was the final straw. I walked back out, dropped the papers in front of everyone without a word. "What is this?" Jake asked, scanning the page. 24 hours to pack and leave, I said, keeping my voice level. If you're still here after that, I'm calling the police. Jake went pale. You can't be serious. I am. You freeloaded here for weeks, contributed nothing, and now you think you can take my house. Not anymore. He stood, trying to loom. I didn't move. We're family, he said through his teeth. You can't just throw us out. Watch me. I pay for this house. Not you, not Emma, not Mom or Dad. If you can't respect that, you don't get to stay in it. Emma cried on cue. I'm pregnant and you're kicking us out. What kind of brother does that? The kind who's done being taken advantage of, I said. 24 hours. That's more than generous. My mom finally spoke up, quiet and shaky. You can't do this, honey. They're family. Already done, I said, pointing at the paper in her hands. 30 days for you and Dad, too. If you're still here after that, it goes legal. Dead silence. Dad stared at the table. Mom looked ready to cry. I didn't stick around for the aftermath. I went to my room, locked the door, and actually slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning was eerily quiet. No banging on my door, no pleading. I made coffee and waited. Eventually, Mom came, in looking like she hadn't slept, and sat across from me. I know things got out of hand, she started. I didn't say anything, just let her keep going. I didn't realize how unfair it was to you. Jake's never had it easy, and you've always been the strong one, so we assumed you could handle it. You think I've had it easy? I said. I bought this house. I pay the mortgage. I pay for groceries. I've been carrying all of you, and you think I can do that forever without anything back? She didn't have a real answer. Just an apology dressed as an explanation. I told her plainly, I wasn't trying to push my own parents out, but respect wasn't optional anymore. Either things changed or the same rules applied to them too. Jake showed up later that afternoon, still bitter. So that's it? You're really kicking us out? I gave you 24 hours. I meant it. We're family, man. You don't do this to family. Family doesn't take advantage of family, I said. You've had weeks to sort this out. I'm not your fallback plan. He didn't have a comeback. By mid-afternoon, he and Emma had packed the car and left without a goodbye. No closure, no scene, just gone. Dad later mentioned they were staying at a motel until they figured something out. Part of me felt a twinge of guilt. Most of me knew I'd let this go on way too long already. That night, Mom came to my room again, sat on the edge of the bed, and said quietly, "They're gone. I didn't realize how much pressure we were putting on you. It was never about not wanting to help," I told her. "It's that none of you treated my space or me like it mattered." She nodded. We should have seen it sooner. We sat there a while, not saying much, but for the first time in weeks, it actually felt like she got it. Not just the words, but the weight behind them. The house is quieter now. Not perfectly fixed, but quieter. I've got my room back, my walk-in closet, my own bathroom, and for the first time in a long time, the sense that my house is actually mine.